Happy New Year's, guys. Okay, I am going to take you along for a grocery shopping trip. I just got finished going in and doing my restock. So if you caught in my previous video where I talked about my year-end rituals and I talked about my kitchen clean out, inventory, and restock, and I actually showed you guys me going through the process of cleaning out my pantry, my fridge, and making a list of things that I needed to restock, and that is what I just did. So at the time that I'm filming this, it is actually New Year's Eve, but I did not want to start 2026 off with an empty kitchen, which is basically what I had. And I just want to say that if you're catching this video after the new year has already started, I want to be so for real right now when I say it literally doesn't matter. Like, I know that my high achieving ladies, type A ladies who want to do everything perfectly can get a little stressed out if they feel like they're behind, they missed the boat, it's too late. It is never too late. It is never too late. At any time, you can be like, all right, let's get it together. And so since I don't know exactly when this video is going to come out, if it is after the new year, then this might be a refresher for you when it comes to thinking through what you want to restock in your pantry, fridge, and freezer for the new year. So a couple of quick disclaimers before we get into the video. Number one, I shop at two different grocery stores. They're literally like a mile apart, and it is totally worth it to me because one store has some of the things I need and the other store has the other. So the first place that we're going to go is Kroger. And I know that not everybody has Kroger, and honestly, that is such a tragedy because it is the best. So there are a couple of staple things that I get at Kroger. So I started there. I love the Simple Truth brand. I also love the Private Selection brand, and I just love the regular Kroger brand. So as you'll see, I get a mix of all of these things, and these are really just like the different levels of Kroger brand foods. And so I stock up there, and then we head to Walmart in true Arkansas girly fashion. Had to hit up Walmart, and my Walmart that I go to is a Walmart marketplace, so it's really small, it's so convenient. And what I love about shopping at both of these stores is if there was not something at Kroger that I needed, or like the raspberries weren't looking very great that day, then I can grab them at Walmart, and it really works out for me. Second disclaimer is what we're doing today is a restock. So this is a bigger grocery trip. This is not my typical like weekly grocery trip at all. This is me honestly just setting my environment up for success. I talked about that in the previous video. I want to know that I have options on hand. I want to know that if I am freaking tired on a Wednesday night, I've got some things that I can turn to, or I'm super busy and I am late to get my lunch in, like I've got something I can just throw in the microwave. So the purpose of this grocery restock wasn't to get my weekly groceries. Definitely some of the things will be used like that, but for the most part, this is just me setting up my environment, making sure I've got some staple things. So I'm not buying things like a ton of fresh veggies or a ton of like fresh meat, as much as what I'm really doing is getting those pantry staples, freezer staples, things that I can turn to, that I can grab. So this is just something that I really do a couple times a year as needed. So obviously like beginning of year, I always do my clean out and restock. Also like headed into summer when the boys are out of school is a time that I do it, and back to school, and just making sure that we start the new year off strong. It just so happened to work out that I had the time to do this today, but I will be honest, in years past, I don't always get it done before the new year. So back to my original point, if you're catching this after the new year, you can totally do this now. And also, it doesn't have to be as big as mine is. It might just be that you are restocking a couple of those really staple things like protein options or snacks, maybe whatever it is that you tend to really struggle with. But I hope that this video will give you some inspiration, maybe some ideas, even if you don't have these exact products in your store. Hopefully there are still some good ideas that come from it. So let's get shopping. All right, first we're headed into Kroger. And one last disclaimer, because I'm doing a voiceover on this, it might be a little bit broken up. I just don't want to re-record it like 5,000 times, you guys. But I'm excited to show you what I got in this shopping trip. So headed into Kroger first, and I did the majority of my shopping at Kroger in this trip. Usually that's flipped because Walmart just has such better prices. But for whatever reason, I took care of most of the things at Kroger on this day. So like I mentioned, I'm not really here to restock a ton of fresh stuff. I was
really like kind of cleared out when it came to fresh food. So I grabbed some berries, and then checking my grocery list really quickly, I grabbed one of my favorite staples that needed restocked, the Bolthouse Ranch. They continue to improve this recipe and it is just so good. But again, just restocking some of those staples like oranges and apples are those things that can live for a long time in your pantry. They don't go bad as fast as berries. So just restocking all of this to get started. A lot of this trip was restocking just like those staples like salsa, the absolute MVP, pastas, and pasta sauces. So always keep jars of pasta sauce around. So easy to like throw together a quick meal. So important to read the labels on pasta sauce. We have some of our tried and true favorites. I love these no sugar added red sauces, but especially like cream sauces. Look at the labels because the calorie difference is astronomical. So again, just needed to replenish some of these staples. We use honey to sweeten absolutely everything. Love this ketchup and this Japanese barbecue sauce. If you've never tried it, worth every penny. Definitely restocking some carbs like rice. I love these easy boxes of couscous. We do lots of taco nights, so tortillas. And then I saw these protein soups. I'd never tried them. Spoiler alert, I already have, and they're really good. So these and these tuna pouches are just like some easy grab and go lunch options. And then I restocked all of our canned options, things that, you know, you can throw into chili, soup with tomatoes, beans, all that good stuff. Whenever I was losing 100 pounds, I turned to using sprays instead of regular oil as much because it just saves you so many calories. Oil adds up so fast. And then seasonings are one of my favorite ways to flavor your food without, again, like adding a ton of calories. So this was like a nice little buy two, get one free deal. So these are some of my staples. I always keep RX bars in the pantry, my purse, my car, my pull bag. It's not a ton of protein, but I find them to be really filling and I like how easy they are to just keep around. Okay, now I'm restocking one of my absolute essentials, which is my freezer chicken. I love both of these options. One is slightly less calories, but to be able to throw these in an air fryer, pair them with a carb and a veggie is a game changer. And speaking of a carb, I bought some rice earlier, but I'm also grabbing some microwavable rice because these steam in the bag in like 3 minutes. So they're just nice to have on hand for those moments where you're like, oh snap, I got to get it done. Grabbing my absolute favorite bread. Sprouted grain bread has more nutrients, more fiber, more protein. So this is usually my go-to option whenever I can. And then this is another absolute must when I'm restocking breakfast options. The truth of the matter is you're going to wake up late. Mornings are going to be hectic. So even if you're planning to make a certain breakfast, I always have something on hand that if things go sideways, I can pop it into the microwave, the air fryer, and I've got a breakfast option. So wrapping up here at Kroger, one of the things that I'm willing to make a sacrifice on is doing fat-free half and half. It doesn't taste that different to me. So this is truly a staple for me, especially with as much coffee as I drink. So grabbing some of my favorite crackers. I love these for snacks and also to pair with those tuna pouches. And then I did want to show one last thing. These like white cheddar popcorn rice cake things. Oh my gosh, so good, especially in fat loss. Like the calorie compared to the volume, if you are in a fat loss phase, it just cannot be beat. So definitely check those options out. And now we're headed into Walmart. And like I mentioned, I do shop at both of these. Usually I do more shopping at Walmart. And honestly, it is because the prices are a bit better, but more importantly, the quality of the produce. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's usually better at Walmart for me. My Walmart marketplace is usually fresher. And with the cost of food now, I don't want to buy produce that's just going to go bad in a day or two or is literally already bad. So was just checking everything out here, got some more berries and also my absolute goat volume veggie, zucchini. Like you can add it to anything. You can spiralize it, add it to eggs, pizza, soups, literally anything. And it gives you so much volume. So grab some of these just for fun. They're not really anything special, but then I grabbed my other staple for protein. We buy like 3 of these at a time. The protein, so good. We add some fruit to it, some honey, and make yogurt bowls all the time. Okay, you know how I was talking about the fat-free half and half and how it's okay, I'm just willing to go fat-free there. This is one of those where it's the opposite. I am going to do the sweetened mango. I prefer it. I like it. Me and my kids like it. And I love this as like a snack paired with some beef jerky. This is a good car line snack portioned out. And I'm not willing to do the unsweetened. A few more fun drinks I can throw in a wine glass. Why not? And then another absolute staple, the Fairlife milk. Less sugar, more protein. Can pair this with half a bagel, can have it as an afternoon snack. This is something I don't know how I ever lived without it. It makes it so easy. I always keep a carton of egg whites stocked because I can add a fourth a cup, half a cup to my eggs, and it boosts the protein without boosting the fat, but it's not just eating egg whites alone. I also just found some fun other like new staples to try. This Better Goods brand that Walmart has now is pretty legit. So we grabbed some of this to try, and then just totally restocked frozen veggies. Again, these are things that I can just keep in the freezer. I can pull out. I love these spicy black bean burgers. 2 is 18 grams of protein in the air fryer with some of those veggies I just showed. Such a simple meal. So wrapping up here at Walmart, grabbing my last few items, which again, I'm kind of restocking my favorite carb options here. And these tortillas are a staple I keep in the freezer. I found these pocketless pitas and thought they looked absolutely perfect for an individual pizza. We like to do that a lot, build your own pizza night, restocking our staple with the Dave's Killer bagels. And here's the deal. Last thing I just want to note is looking at labels, like reading your food labels and comparing. You would never think that this carb option would have 11 grams of protein, but it does. It also has 4 grams of fiber. So there's a lot of value in looking at your food labels and comparing and seeing what are you actually getting with the foods that you're buying. A lot of times it is worth it to go for some of these options because of the quality. Okay, to wrap this video, I have to tell you guys about, hands down, one of my favorite tools that I created for myself very early on in my 100-pound weight loss journey, literally out of necessity, because if I had not had this tool, I don't know how I would have survived. I still use it to this day, and it's really relevant because I used it in this shopping trip to make it so seamless, so smooth, so much easier. So I want to share it with you guys because this is actually one of the very first things that I have my clients do inside of our Goal Body method is set themselves up with this tool and resource to make things so much easier when it comes to your meal planning, your grocery shopping, all of it. So if you don't already have this, I want to encourage you to make a staple meals and foods sheet. And just a quick little summary, and I'll share a picture of what mine looks like. Basically what you're doing here is you're creating a 1-page document that has the staple meals and foods, it's literally what it sounds like, in one place. Because here's the deal, at the end of the day, whenever it comes time to meal plan, which you're going to do every single week as a part of your systems to lose this weight, to get your goal body, and to maintain it, every single week when you have to sit down and write a meal plan, if you are trying to start from scratch, if you're trying to like pull things out of your brain with all of the other things that are in here, then yeah, meal planning feels extremely tedious, time consuming, just not even fun. And so this really helps save you time, energy. And also something else I used to do in the beginning is I would just get on like Pinterest or try to scroll through like recipes I had saved. And I mean, you're getting pulled in a million different directions there too, right? Like notifications are going off. Now I'm scrolling, looking at like things that have nothing to do with this. So by putting all of your staple meals and foods in one place, when it comes time to meal plan or go on a grocery trip just like this one, you pull this up and you're not having to like use all of this brain power to think. So the layout of this sheet is actually super simple, and you can put it into a fancy whiteboard like I have. You can put it on a sheet of paper. You can put it in a notes section in your phone, in like your notes app, and that's also super simple as well. Just something that you'll actually be able to pull up and use really easily. That's where the phone version kind of reigns supreme, because maybe you're sitting at kids' basketball practice and you're like, oh, I'm gonna work on the meal plan right now. Boom, you can pull up the notes app and check out your staple meal. So when it comes to creating your staple foods and meals sheet, when it comes to the food side of it, this is just super simple. The categories that I have are proteins, fruits, vegetables, fats, and then grains and starches. So if you think about this, all you're going to do is across the top of your sheet or your notes app, create those sections, and then underneath each category, list out the foods that you like to eat, right? So maybe under protein, you've got things like chicken or canned tuna or Greek yogurt or the Fairlife milk, like whatever it is that really falls into the protein category. And sometimes there's a crossover, right? Like beans can also be like a starch. Just don't overthink this and
put everything that you like underneath these categories. Then the other side of this is going to be the staple meal side. And this is the part that really shines because again, when it comes time to sit down and write out this meal plan, I'm not reinventing the wheel. 80 to 90% of what is going to go in my meal plan on any given week is going to be off of this sheet. And then I've got, that little 10 to 20% to maybe find new recipes, try new things. And the cool part about this is when I like a recipe, I just add it to the staple meal sheet so that it can go into the rotation. So these categories for mine have breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and then snacks, treats. You could also have sides. And so what I have going on this sheet is just all of the things that I like underneath these categories for myself and then also for my family. So I'll add a little plus sign if it's something that the family loves, a family favorite meal, so that when I'm working on the meal plan, I can really look to like, what is it that everybody likes that's going to make everybody happy? But this just makes things so much easier. So for example, I might have, just a specific meal like scrambled eggs and toast, like literally something that simple underneath the breakfast category. Or it could be something like those breakfast sandwiches that I showed, like a specific thing, or like the Applegate chicken breakfast sausages. You know how you try things and you really like them and then you forget about them. And then later on you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot I liked that, right? So again, by putting it on this list, you can remember to actually get those foods again, and it just makes your planning so much easier. So I just cannot recommend enough sitting down and making this document work for you. Really, again, whatever works, paper, notes, whatever, but getting the staple foods I think is really helpful. But the staple meals, again, is really gonna make your meal planning so much easier. This also makes your grocery shopping easier. Cannot recommend doing this and just brain dumping everything that you've got and then adding to it. You might think of something down the road and you can go and you can add to it. When you try new recipes or find new foods that you love from your grocery store, you can add those and keep this document and pull it out as you're doing your weekly meal planning, grocery restocks. You will be so thankful that you have this tool. All right, you guys, I hope that this episode was helpful, provided you with some value, especially right here at the new year as we are getting going. I'm super excited to hear if you loved this one. So let me know in the comments, reach out to me on social media as well. Make sure that you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.